right, so we're looking at proving triangles are congruent, angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. Okay? Angle, side, angle, the side is between the two angles. It's included. It's adjacent to them. Angle, angle, side, it's an angle, and then finally a side. So we're going to prove triangles are congruent. We're going to look at this first one. We've got BC is congruent to EC. And we've got angle B is congruent to angle E, and that's the given. Okay, so we're looking at this triangle, these two triangles. We're either going to try to figure out an angle so that the side is in between, or an angle where the side isn't in between. What angle could we find on this? Yes?
Angle BCD is congruent to angle BCA through vertical angle postulate.
Correct. Angle DCE is congruent to angle ACE, and that's by vertical angles. Bill Gates was a nerd too, and now he's a multimillionaire, so. All right.
Bill Gates.
Hi, still teaching, talking here. We're not going to call each other names. It's kind of what I was getting at, so we're going to move on. Yes, Jacob, do you have a question? What did I put? ACE. Yes, it would be ACB. Thank you. All right, therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEC. And what do we call that?
Side angle side.
Let's try it again.
Or angle side angle.
There we go. Okay, because the side is between the two angles. Got a question about this? Everybody okay? All right, let's move on to the next one then. Stop computer. It's recording. It's all crazy. Yes, I am recording it.
So people will hear us.
Correct.
You don't try to get it out.
Yes, people will hear me calling the computer stupid multiple times because I do it maybe 3 times a time when I'm recording it.
Did they hear you now?
It's recording right this second. You hear everything we're saying right now. Yes. Okay, yes, it's put on the website. So, when I ask you, do that again and I'm going to kick you out. When your parents say, my child never speaks out in class, I can just turn this back on and say, ooh, do you hear that voice right there? That's your kid. All right, I'm not going to answer any more questions about that. We're going to do example 2. So we're looking at example 2. The first thing I want you to do is, while I'm reading the given, I want you to draw on the picture.
Draw what?
Okay, angle A is congruent to angle D. So mark that they're congruent to each other.
How do we do that?
Yeah, what's congruent? Oh, I did it.
Okay? So, angle C is congruent to angle F, so make it a double arc. BC is congruent to EF. So just drew a line. Just make a line in between BC that's perpendicular to it. Yeah, like that. And then do it for EF. There we go. Okay. So we have all of these things. We have angle A is congruent to angle D. Angle C is congruent to angle F. And we have BC is congruent to EF. Okay, and this is all given. What else do we need to know to prove that these triangles are congruent? And we cannot use angle, angle, side to prove it because we're proving that theorem. What else do we know is congruent? Yes, Kayla? We do not know that that side is congruent to each other. Yes?
We know that angle B is congruent to angle E through third angle here.
Correct. We know angle B is congruent to angle E by third angle congruency theorem. Alright? And now we know that the two triangles are congruent to each other by what? Who knows? Nope, can't use angle, angle, angle to prove triangle. Try Very good. We know angle, side, angle. There we go. Therefore, we know that angle, angle, side works for all triangles. All right, let's turn it over. We've got 2 more to go. It'll get better as you go along. It's going to feel like that for a little while longer.
How did you know about that third angle congruency?
Because I talked about it in class.
When?
Yeah. I believe 4.1. All right. All right. So I know this looks confusing because it's 2 triangles overlapping. So my suggestion is when you have 2 triangles overlapping to redraw them so that they're not. Because then it's sometimes easier to see. You don't have to be. I'm not. Obviously. Okay. So we know that C and B are congruent to each other, right? We know AE and D is congruent to each other. Since they were overlapping, what else do you know is congruent to each other? Look at it carefully. What else is the same? Or if we look at the drawing where they're separated, what do they have in common? Angle A. Very nice.
Third angle.
And we know they are congruent to each other, not by third angle, but by reflexive, because they were on top of each other. Okay. So we are given AD is congruent to AE, given. We were also given that angle B is congruent to angle C, given. We talked about what is that other angle we know? Angle A is congruent to angle A. What do we call it when something's on top of each other? We call it reflection. Okay, so the triangles are congruent to each other by what?
Angle, side, side.
Angle, angle, side. Because we've got an angle, and a side.
Okay, so what if we got angle, angle, side, like side, side, angle, whatever, mixed up on the test? Would that be like minus half a point?
It would be minus a point. The difference between angle, angle, side, and side, side, angle are big differences. Well, one doesn't actually work. And the other issue is these are angles, and that's a side. So we can see that there's one side here and 2 angles. Are we ready to go to example 4?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, last one, guys.
I can't see this. It's all shadow. I always wanted to be an
Yes. Angle, angle, side. All right. So let's write down the given first. We've got, all we know is that MC is congruent to AC. What else does the drawing show us before anything else? Yes, Kim.
M is congruent to A.
Because they're both right angles. Angle M is congruent to angle A, and we'll call that right angle congruency. So we need something else. We either need another side or another angle. What do we got? Angle NCM is congruent to angle BCA by what? Vertical angles. Nice, guys. Yep. So now what do we have? How do we prove that these triangles are congruent? You do. You do. You have everything you need. Look at it. What 3 things do we have? The thing about triangles. Let's look again.
No, keep on.
side, angle,
Angle,
side,
Angle, side, angle.
Angle side angle. Are we ever gonna do side angle?
I'm
Yes,
gonna
but
go
not
home
today.
and listen to this just so I can hear myself.
Yes,
Angle side angle is not the same thing as angle side.
you're right, it's not.
Angle.
Verbal abuse.
Be nice to each other. No calling each other stupid,
I
please.
see that other one.